What's up, BE3 Nation? Welcome back to the BE3 podcast. Today, I got to sit down with these two amazing guys, and you got to follow their stuff. Guys, give them your channels.
What's up? Rett Harmon, C21 Novus out of Carrollton, Georgia. Follow us on our Facebook pages, C21 Retro Group or C21 Novus. Also have a YouTube channel, which is Random to Real Estate, Random TO Real Estate.
Yep. I'm Johnny Knight, C21 Sterling Realty out of Martinsburg, West Virginia. You can follow me at @CallJKnight, and that's on both Instagram and Facebook.
All right. And once again, make sure you like, heart, subscribe, hit the bell, all the notifications. You need to follow what we're doing, and it's a lot of fun. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another podcast here at BE3. We are so fortunate today to have two amazing guests on the podcast, something we don't actually get to do or do very often. So I'm pretty pumped about it. We're out here actually in Los Angeles for the C21 Global Conference. So I'm getting to see a bunch of people that we don't get to see as often probably as we want. But I've got two guys here on the podcast, and obviously this whole thing that we do, every piece of content, is designed to empower, educate, and encourage agents of any brand, right? So you guys are going to get exposure today to agents across the United States, but certainly the globe as well. Our podcast is listened internationally, so a lot of exposure opportunity for you guys. But I'm excited because you guys are going to get to hear some different things that are being done. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves. But we've got Rhet Harmon, who is a broker and an agent, and then we've got Jonathan Knight, who is a new agent who's just absolutely killing it. So, Rhet, why don't you introduce yourself for those people that don't know you?
Absolutely. So I'm Rett Harmon. Appreciate you having me on the show, Mike. I'm with C21 Novus in Carrollton, Georgia. We're about 45 miles west of Atlanta, so Atlanta suburb market. I kind of take pride in not having a broker's license, and I don't ever plan to get one, but I do own half the company. My business partner, Curtis North, is a qualifying broker, and we have a managing broker, Sandy Morse, that does a great job of handling that side of it. Awesome. So we do a lot of property management. We have probably 45 agents total in our office, and I run a smaller sales team called Retro Group. It's RETTRO, and kind of short for Rhett or part of Rhett, So anyway, we have a good time with it. But I sold 100 homes last year with our team, and so we do a good bit of volume. But I enjoy giving back and coming to these kind of events and speaking and hanging out. Really excited about a YouTube channel we've been working on, putting a lot of our video content back there called Random to Real Estate. So that's Random TO.
And we'll link that out below too, and we'll do the same thing for Jonathan. So I absolutely want everyone who watches this or listens to it, go follow these guys, and so we'll put that below for sure.
Perfect. And the reason I share these is obviously we do a lot of similar things, very like-minded, all three of us, and we like to give back to the industry that's been so good to us. And I think there's a lot of synergy there, and you get what you give. So we're able to find the few things that we do right and share those out with other people. We're able to connect with more people and work on referral business and build our networks up. And at the end of the day, though, I learned far more from everyone else than I could possibly think about the little bit that I share. So that's kind of what we're about, and that's what we do. So I'll turn it over to Jonathan.
Absolutely.
I'm Jonathan Knight. A lot of people know me by Johnny. I'm based out of West Virginia, Martinsburg, West Virginia. I work for C21 Sterling Realty. I am a fairly new agent, and honestly, it's an honor to be sitting here with Rhett and Mike. I've been following them for some time on Workplace. And I've been able to kind of implement a lot of information that they've put out and a lot of good content. And as a new agent, I just celebrated my first full year, 2019, ranked number 4 in the state. There's 37 units, just under 7 million. So I've been able to take the information.
That's incredible. Congrats,
it really is. Like I want to stop and interrupt you. I don't want to interrupt you, but I got to interrupt you. Like for those watching, most of the country doesn't do 37 units in a year, right? You came out being brand new, not really understanding or knowing real estate at all, decided to use the resources around you. Do you have a real estate coach? Are you paying for a coach?
No, I'm not paying for a coach.
So not paying for a coach.
It's free content that you guys put out.
So just watches content and goes out and executes. And that's the biggest part, right? Like it drives me and Jeff crazy, and I'm sure it drives you crazy. We put out this content to help, right? And we, obviously we love everyone that watches, but our own agents, right? We have 400 agents at our brokerage. You've got 45. Like, we want them all to just take the content because we know it works. We know if they go and take these strategies, we have no reason to put out something that doesn't work. And so the content we put out is like, hey, just go do this and it will work. And I think you're proof of that if you just execute, you can have amazing results.
It definitely, it's 100% about the application. A lot of people go to these conferences and they buy all these real estate for dummy books and like all these different things, but if you don't apply it, it means nothing. So that's the biggest thing. It's like, I know I've been doing something similar to Rhett's Random Real Estate called Life in the Panhandle, in which I'm gonna start a little series of my own, in which with that, I'm pretty much, there's opportunities all around us. So it's like, I don't feel I should have to pay for leads when there's leads all around us.
So let's touch on that for a second. So 37 deals. I know that there's a lot of agents watching that go, oh, I bet he bought Zillow leads. I bet he's buying Facebook leads. I'd like to see what that return was on the 7 million. How much money did you output for leads last year?
Zero.
$0. So no Zillow, no Facebook ads, and those things work, right? You'll hear us talk about it. I mean, as a brokerage, we spend money on it. Those things have a place, but at the agent level, it's not needed. And you're proving that. Well,
and the biggest thing of why I'm not knocking Zillow at all. There's people, we were just on a panel and they were talking about they spend like $7,000 a month and whatnot on leads. And apparently there's something that's not uncommon. But the biggest thing is a new agent. It's like, I don't have the resources or the funds to actually buy leads. So my broker, he had provided leads for a while, but people aren't fully working them. So essentially, it was one of those things where I didn't want to be dependent on Zillow. So I wanted to kind of make my own leads. And also with Zillow becoming like a brokerage pretty much in themselves, there's it's not something you really want to be dependent of.
So how are you generating your leads today?
My leads come straight out of my sphere.
Just from your sphere, just working your sphere.
Yep, just working it.
That is awesome. So how are you guys? I know you guys do a lot of things similar to us. You're pushing out a lot of content. How are you generating your leads? How does that work? You did 100 deals. I mean, that's amazing, right? How is that happening? Where does that business come from?
So obviously I have a small team, a few agents kind of working together, but a lot of it comes from, all of it comes from our sphere. And I think a lot of us kind of get kind of trapped into thinking what our sphere is or isn't. And your sphere is pretty much any person that you come in contact with or that comes in contact with you or your content. I consider that part of my sphere because there was an influence that they saw it for one reason or another. Maybe it's because I did spend a little bit of money on promoting an ad on Facebook or a video that we worked on. Get a little better leverage out of what's there. Obviously, the organic stuff is great, but just having that consistency of putting things out there, and then you kind of attract people that want to work with you because they see things that are kind of similar, or you've put out enough different kinds of content that you attract the right kinds of clientele there. So it works out really well. Actually, sitting here, James has got some of his mics going, and we got a little video we're doing as well, kind of simultaneously with you guys on this, but. James Paul Schiller Productions is, he owns his own company. He partnered with us, I guess, like as a vendor when we opened up 2014, doing community videos. So we get together 1 day a month. So kind of wearing my brokerage owner hat. We wanted to basically make sure that we highlighted the place that we lived and worked and all the great things that are going on, community happenings, and let other people be the star of our social media pages. And, it works out very well. There's so many companies out there that do great things that you use on a regular basis that have no presence really anywhere online, especially when it comes to video. And we provided that opportunity. And that really helped us out a lot doing it. But it's consistency. It's that grind, doing it when you know it's going to work, but you don't know when it's going to work, and coming up with 100%. It. And, taking a lot of that, along with some of the educational stuff we do, sharing ideas that we'd like to see or that we know work, that tips, tricks, just streamlining things we've learned and share just from the years of being in business. I think it's kind of funny. This is one of the few industries that everyone likes to boast how long they've been doing it. I love the fact that you're new with it, but this has been something I've been doing as a career since I was 21. So it makes a big difference, I think, or it gives me a different perspective that I really enjoy selling. But when I can get out there and sell, and then I'm bringing it back to our agents and realize, look, some people might view it as I'm competing against them, or they may view it differently. But I kind of share it from the standpoint that I'm not going to recommend you use something if I haven't tried it out or if I'm not going to be doing it as well. So, or at least have an understanding of it for them. Doesn't mean that I have to know everything or that I do, but I do try out a lot of products and I go to a lot of events and I try to learn about what they're about. And because there are a lot of good tools and resources when you get at certain levels.
Yeah.
But there's so many tools and resources that we're already providing that there's something that just had a little bit better presentation or a different presentation. And agents are so quick to just buy into stuff and spend money unnecessarily, and just trying to figure that out. But it comes back around to, and you know, I like to fish as a literal standpoint. I love to go fishing. I know Johnny does too. Yeah. But you know, you teach someone to fish, and they'll have fish the rest of their life. You give them fish, give someone leads, they're going to be dependent on that. And I think you're so smart by being newer in business and realizing that. And it all comes with people we know and staying in touch with them. You know, let them see you where you want to be seen, and you know, being a little bit more intentional with the stuff you put out there and the fun stuff, the things that are just more makes you more human. That I've found gets so much more attraction than some of the forced things, or not knocking a market update, but if that's all you're doing and you're a robot when you're doing it, you're not very engaging. You know, anybody can find stats and data, and if that's something that you want to do as part of your value add, then do it. But figure out a little bit of a creative way of doing it. Make your shot look different each time. Add a little fun with it, but or maybe even just, you know, only make that a small percentage of the video content you put out. You got to have the fun stuff.
I think that's where people get caught. You know, we see it all the time where it's real estate, and there's a couple thoughts, right? Number one, just understanding basic principles of how any of these platforms work. I don't care whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, doesn't matter. The whole goal of those platforms is to keep their consumers' attention. When you're on that platform, all they want you is to stay on that platform for as long as possible. So it is in their best interest to show you stuff that you care about, right? So the second that you engage, that's why if you've ever liked something, all you're gonna see for the next month is that person's content, right? Or similar content. And so that's why it's so important that when you're pushing stuff out there, you're pushing out content that's gonna get engagement, right? Whether it's funny, whether it's serious, well, it doesn't matter. But it needs to be something that people actually care about. And when you give them that, then they're paying attention. Now they're seeing your stuff. Then you intermix some actual value, whether it's, you know, a market update or, you know, it could be anything. But now when I show that open house, they're actually going to see it, right? And then just understanding where the attention is. And I think that's something you've done extremely well, is just grassroots understanding, okay, I've got these platforms, consumers are on there. Now it's just how do I engage with them on there? And I think that's something you've done really well. I mean, you were showing me something you've been doing in Marketplace just to engage, and it's incredible to kind of leverage that audience. So tactically speaking, because I know a lot of the people who do consume our content are agents, what are you doing there and how is that working out for you?
Well, I just try to take advantage of any opportunity, and kind of piggybacking off of what Rhett said. I like being involved within the community. So a lot of times there's businesses and stuff that really don't get exposure like you had mentioned. And I feel that my job and my platform allows me to help them out in return. It's like if I show my value to them, they show their value to me. Yep. So it's really one of those things where I enjoy just helping out, whether it's a fellow agent, even if they're not in our brand, so to speak. I'll help them out and give them pointers and stuff like that. And then in return, like they return the favor. And it's like, whether it's referrals or anything, and just in general, just truly wanting to help somebody.
Yeah.
People can sense if you're not being real. And it's like, that's the biggest thing, because if you don't want to get called out, you have to keep it as real as possible. And just getting that stuff, like portraying it in the sense that it's like you're truly helping someone. And if it's fake, people are going to call you out.
Intent matters. People know the intent, right? The intent really does matter. And I'm sure you may have experienced this with your content. I know we did when we first started pushing all the advice out there. You're talking about experience. That's why I was excited to do this, because we kind of have all three ranges of experience, right? Our brokerage has been around for 28 years this year, and we're selling about 10 to 20 homes a day. So we're moving a lot of volume as well. You've got a really productive team. You're a really productive brand new agent. And when you look at the one of the common themes here, though, is we're pushing out content to help the community for free, and asking for nothing in return. And I think when we started doing that, there was a lot of people that were started watching it and they're like, yeah, it's good advice, but they're waiting for the other shoe to drop. They're waiting for that ask. They're waiting for that. What's the catch, right? When are they going to start trying to charge me for that mastermind? When are they going to sell me that book? When are they going to?
I thought it was a trial.
And you thought the same thing, right? Which is super funny to hear that. So, and we know that was the perception, right? The perception was, yeah, but why, right? Like why? Like there's got to be another reason. And we're fortunate enough, and I know you guys are too, we're making our money by selling real estate, right? So not only are we giving that expertise because we're doing it every single day as a brokerage, so we're only going to push out what we're actually doing, but we're fortunate enough to make money doing that, where I don't need to sell you an ebook. I don't need to sell you a mastermind, right? That's just our way of saying, hey, we really appreciate it and we want to give back, and we want to give back to the agents and the other people that have supported us along this journey. So but I know, how was your content first perceived, and like how have you grown?
Well, it's kind of funny, you guys. James is sitting on the other side of the camera right now, as he often is. But obviously I'm sitting in the stool here, so I'm already appearing a little bit shorter. These guys are a hell of a lot taller than I am.
We won't
so,
try.
I'm about 5'7", 5'8" on a good day. And James, how tall are you, man? 6'3". People perceived, they didn't really know how to take it at first. A lot of people knew who I was, low-lying fruit businesses that I knew were using them. And I come walking in with James with this giant camera. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, and he's a big dude, so they think you were like someone famous. You had a bodyguard. What was the deal?
Well, sometimes people have joked around about that, which is funny. But no, a lot of times they were like people that I go in their place of business. I was already doing business with them, with their companies.
Yeah.
And a lot of these are they sometimes are often competitors of ours. They're in our market. And but if we use their company for whatever it is. Whether it's a dry cleaner, a dentist, whatever is there, it's still good to promote other business regardless. And what we found is just being genuine about it, and people often thought it was a catch, or they were like, well, maybe I'll let the person that just works for me say something. I was like, no, you own the company. You need to be the one. You're the face. Yeah. Why do you do this? And how do people get a hold of you? Is there anything that you want to? You're trying to help, an area of your business you're trying to help grow. And we try to help them leverage that and they have fun with it. And they're like, hey, where's it going to be? And then, it's kind of neat how we've had others reach out to us. After doing this for a couple of years, I had a lot of haters that were like, who do you think you are, walking around doing all these videos, and this is silly, and it's too much, and it's showing up too often. And, but it really wasn't. It's just, people were looking at everything and commenting on everything. So that's why they were seeing a lot of it. But it's kind of funny. You just have to know when it's the right thing to do and keep pushing on regardless if someone's trying to talk you out of it or make you feel bad for doing something good or whatever that is. So, it's just part of the road, but taking the time and the consistency is the key with this stuff. And, we found a good little opportunity there, and it's really, it really does help all of our agents grow their business because we're just highlighting it as a company, and it's about them, and we give them a chance to kind of shine as far as that goes. So, it does, and that's kind of part of how we really try to get our name out there a little bit differently, and that and just showing up to the things that are already going on. You don't have to invent everything. There's not that many original ideas, right? I mean, there's a few that come up, but take your own spin on it. But use the things that are going on in your market, in your town, things you can get involved with, and show up and be present. It's a strong combination of creating the right content, but people need to also see you either creating the content or being involved with it and helping. And it's all these different layers, networking, volunteering, actually still selling real estate, all this combined, which I think kind of makes the whole concept come together, and people really understand this person's real and they're in it for the right reasons and for the long haul. It's a marathon. I mean, I need clients in the next 20 years of my business just as much as I need it in the first 20. And I want to keep working on those and always doing the right thing, treating people fairly.
And then it's crazy because real estate 101, everybody knows people buy from people that they know, they like, and they trust. So the biggest thing with the whole know, like, and trust, I try to jump right into the trust portion of it, because if you earn someone's trust, you earn the right to sell.
Absolutely.
And the only reason that you are building their trust is because you're actually taking that personal interest in them, and you're genuinely providing a service to them, and you're not asking for anything in return.
It's the intent matters.
I mean, we do a lot for sale by owners now in our market, where we literally created a 30-page guide that walks them through exactly how to sell your house, right? Our contracts, everything in there. All of our contacts, literally a checklist. And we give that to them. Say, listen, you want to sell your house yourself? Good, you should. Great, here's a guide. And we can electronically send it, we can do it. And I will tell you, almost every single time, they realize, holy crap, there's a lot
way
to
too
this.
complicated.
This is way harder than what I thought it was going to be. But, you know, there are a lot of people like, I would never send that guide. I'm telling them how to sell their house. And what I always explain to them is, as the client level, listen, if you use this and the house sells, great, right? Congratulations. What I also know, though, is that the real value that an agent's going to bring you is actually after the offer comes in. Getting the offer is the easier part, right? It's after the fact. Making sure we have the right disclosures, making sure everything is legally buttoned up so you're not getting sued on the back end, making sure the deal actually closes. So that's all key, and I think that's something that you guys probably live with on a day-to-day basis.
It's crazy because that's the type of gems that y'all drop. It's like something as simple as that. My mind is over here. I'm like, man, I'd never thought about that, to send a for sale by owner the whole contract. Where you can show them, or do you really want to do this on your own?
I personally referred one out the other day. She came in a couple weeks ago. She kind of knows my wife. I had a long conversation with her, and she said, listen, my brother's selling his house in Orlando right now for sale by owner. I think that's what I want to do. So I said, cool, I'm going to send you a guide. I hope it helps. Send it over. Checked in next week, said, hey, how's it going? She's like, it's going good. I thank you for the guide. I'm using it. I'm gonna see if I think my neighbor's gonna buy it. I said, oh, that's awesome. Checked in the next week. Hey, did your neighbor buy the house? No, kind of fell through, blah, blah. Got a text last Sunday. Hey, I think I want to go ahead and list it with you guys.
Exactly.
I referred an agent over, 4 days on the market, already under contract at full ask, right? So it plays out. But my whole thing is, the way that works, though, going back to what we were talking about earlier, is the intent is, I just want to help her, right? So had her neighbor bought the house and the guide helped her, fantastic. I didn't do it hoping that it wouldn't work out and that I just want to bring value. And I know that if you do that enough times, it's going to play out positively in the future, right? So going back to you, though, you're a new agent coming in, you're trying to learn real estate contracts, everything else, and you go off, you execute, you do 37 deals. Now, there's a lot of agents not doing 37 deals. That when we talk about, I'm sure you get pushback from your agents, I know we do. Hey, I want you to go shoot this video. Hey, I want you to go interview a local business owner. Hey, I want you this. And a lot of times it's not even that they don't want to be on camera, it's the I don't have time for that, my job's to sell homes kind of attitude, right, that comes with it. They're not doing 37 deals, but they don't have time. I've seen your stuff, you're pushing out a lot of content, you're bringing value to your sphere, and you're doing 37 deals. How have you found the efficiency and the time to actually execute on the advice that you're getting?
In real estate, you get out of it what you put into it. So it's literally one of those things where it's like, I'm the type of person where I apply something. If I see results, I can see Rhett selling 100 homes. I see the feedback he gets on his videos. I see this content that Beggins and you put out, and I'm seeing results. So it's like, if it's not broken, why fix it? So why should I try to do something different when you're already getting results for it? So it's literally one of those things, you make time for it. It's like not having time is just an excuse.
I agree. So you start putting out content, you start getting some deals done. What was the biggest thing when you think back to but right before you got that first deal, what led to that first deal? What did you hear from us or him or whoever else that kind of clicked that was able to lead you down the path to get that first transaction?
Getting my first transaction is literally just kind of putting myself out there. Because a lot of times, especially as a new agent, we're often finding ourselves uncomfortable doing things. But a lot of times when you're uncomfortable is when you excel the best. So it's like, it was literally me just kind of being involved in the workplace. And it's like, I'm the type of person where it's like I'm self-motivated. So I'll look at my own help videos and I'll research and stuff like that, just to try to prove it to myself. But just kind of looking at your content, like I was following you guys before y'all even had a clue who I was. And it was one of those things where I was looking at...
You're a stalker, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. But it's crazy because it's like I was following you guys and it's like, okay, I want to mirror my business after them. So it was one of those things where as I was looking at what you guys were doing, it's like something simple, it still sticks to me. It's like you posted a video about geotagging.
Yeah.
It's like how you can take and geotag a particular location. And I was thinking to myself, how genius would it be for me to geotag the DMV?
Yeah.
Like people sit there all day. So while they're on Facebook, they're going to see my content.
Yep.
Or it's like his whole random to real estate thing. It kind of inspired me because I was seeing the videos that they were putting out. I was like, Rhett's not even really trying to sell houses, but I know he's selling houses.
Yeah.
So it's like you bring value to people, and in turn, it's like not expecting anything in return. They look at you as that source.
Yep.
And it's like they probably think you know everything. It's like they literally, I'm sure, call you because they're like, oh, well, Rhett knows somebody for that. Because he brings that value to people. And in turn, it's like they know that he's that source.
Absolutely.
Well, you have to back it up as well. So we try to, take the time and really also not just putting the content out there and doing the right things and showing up, but always being positive about talking about real estate. It's so huge. And one thing that I've always done is if I could help somebody with some real estate information.
Yep.
What should we do? Should we do this? Should we do that? And I talk a lot of people out of not selling their properties for different reasons because I think it's the right thing to do a lot of times.
Yep.
Yet someone's older thinking about retiring, and they're like, man, I'm trying to figure this out. My bills are kind of tight. I'll sit down and go over their finances with them and say, look, you could sell this, you could sell this. If you sold your house, you're gonna pay the same amount for something half as big. I don't see you getting rid of all your furniture yet. You can't because of whatever. So let's figure out how to restructure some things, and maybe there's something else you can do. And a lot of times we're able to find how they can still keep it and have it make it work out. So I didn't get to sell their home, but they're telling everybody that they know about that. And you can't create that. You can't buy that kind of honesty from someone. Or obviously it's kind of like I take the mentality of kind of you go to a doctor for a second opinion of something or whatever. My shoulder hurts. I didn't like the answer. I go for another one. One doctor's not going to talk bad about another doctor, regardless. Right. Yeah. So we should have that same courtesy, not talk bad about another agent, regardless of what competitor's office they came from or whatnot. But you just have to maybe say, well, a different approach might be this. Yeah. Or, maybe you could try this. There's a lot of times I'll have friends that will call me that have listed with other competitors because they had to. Nothing personal against me, but it's not worth the disruption with their spouse because their spouse's relative sells real estate. But the spouse doesn't control who they send their referrals to. Yeah. So, but taking the time and explaining, this is another way you might do it. You could do this, right? You're just not showing up right here differently. So being genuine and honest and helping people is the name of the game.
Yeah, I mean, one of Jeff's favorite questions to always ask as someone who's inquiring about selling is, do you have to sell this home? What are you going to do with the money, right? Because the reality is, you have an appreciating asset. And so in most markets, that home could end up renting for more than what their mortgage is. So how much equity do you have in the house? Oh, you want to go buy there? Do you have equity to go buy it, right? Let's keep it. Can you rent it out, make money? Now you have a cash flowing asset, and then we can go help you buy over there, right? So that's his favorite thing to do. Is his advice to any seller is never, ever, ever sell your house unless you absolutely have to, or you have a better use for the money. And so asking that question right off the bat makes everyone go, wait a minute, right? That's not something most real estate agents would ever ask, but it's the right thing to do. So as we close up, obviously, guys, I want you guys to go follow these guys. They push out a ton of great stuff, and they're giving a model that I think all of you should follow. So we'll put all their links below. But any final thoughts, Jonathan? What do you got? As an agent, talking to all the other agents out there, any final piece of advice?
It's all about the application. It's like we all know what to do. We just got to do it.
Yep, 100% agree. What do you got, Rhett?
And once you know what you're going to do, you got to be consistent with it every day. You got to keep the grind going. The stuff that's not the most fun sometimes are the things that really matter in the way we're going to have longevity in this business.
100%. I mean, consistency is the key, right? In anything in life. You want to get bigger in the gym, you got to go to the gym every day. Not once a month, every day. You want to lose weight, all that stuff. So I think I hope we brought them a lot of value today. I'm super pumped that we got to finally do this, and hopefully we'll do it again.
Thank you so much for having us.
We got to get you guys down
to
Florida.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, for being on, and thanks for watching, guys.
All right,